Alrighty, so we're back here on some more Warframe. However, we are not really here to talk about Warframe actually. Instead, we're going to be talking about some fighting games actually. If you're new here, I pretty much just play Warframe and talk about whatever. I mean, if you're wondering why Warframe is the gameplay being shown, it's because, well, I mean, I don't really have a face cam up or anything like that, so for background gameplay, I kind of just use Warframe while talking about whatever, because Warframe's currently the game I've been playing a fair bit of. Not really been playing too much else, but I mean, I need some gameplay footage or something, so if you don't like it, then I don't know, close your eyes or something. Anyway, I wanted to talk about fighting games because there's really been like quite a bit of talking going on about them. Like really, there's just been a lot of there's been a lot of fighting game news recently. You had Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku in Dragon Ball Fighters. Fighters was really seemed to have been like kind of support being cut. No more updates, but then they just randomly did Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and his trailer came out a few days ago. By the time you guys are seeing this, he's officially out now, and he does look pretty good. I think the issue is just that he does look like a little bit lower quality, but he does still seem good. He still does look at least fun to play and pretty well designed. No idea of how actually good or not he is, but he at least looks fun. And then other news, there was like Invincible versus, I mean, a lot of people rage quitting at that, which we'll kind of get into here in a moment. Then Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, that's a long word, that's a mouthful for a fighting game, that's for sure. But there's just been like all sorts of news and updates and betas going on for that game. It's probably like the fighting game that I'm like most interested in, that I'm like kind of keeping an eye on actually. Part of like what actually pulls me into fighting games is the visual style, and I think Marvel Tokon, I mean, visually it looks great, it looks very nice. It's a nice art style, I like it. And then just in terms of like other kind of fighting game talk that's been going around, it's like there still are other games like Virtua Fighter. I think there's another Dead or Alive coming out. Tekken is still getting updated, and you know, new characters, balance updates. Its balance direction is a little bit rough, but there was a recent patch that, I mean, maybe made it better. I have no idea. I've not really watched the Main Man Sui or 3DX video on it. You know, Street Fighter is still getting its updates. Mortal Kombat was found dead in a back alley. But despite all this, I really do not play fighting games much. I don't have much experience with fighting games actually. I played a little bit of Soul Calibur back in the day. I played a little bit of Fighter Z. Is it Fighter Z or just Fighters? I don't know. Dragon Ball Fighters, I'll just call it that for now. And then I played a little bit of Mortal Kombat 11. I played a little bit of Tekken 8. I mean, very little, because yeah, we'll talk about that. It's like all these like games are cool, but there is an issue, which is really, I mean, it's kind of a problem, but kind of not. I mean, it's kind of just the genre itself, really. Fighting games are just niche, but they're not really just niche in genre, they're niche in gameplay too. And what I mean by that is that there's nothing really like a fighting game, which is actually very important, because that means that really no skills transfer over to fighting games. Like for example, I play Warframe a lot. None of my Warframe skills would transfer over to a fighting game if I were to pick up a fighting game. Meanwhile, if I were to play something like Marvel Rivals, a totally different game from Warframe, I still would at least have the basics down. And I'm talking like very core basics. I would at least understand how to move my camera around, how to aim, that kind of stuff. It doesn't really feel so foreign. But if I were to go from Warframe to just Dragon Ball Fighters, just to throw it out there, I mean, there's just nothing that's actually going to transfer over. It's just going to be a completely foreign game to me. If you play fighting games regularly, then, I mean, skills between fighting games should transfer over to each other. But like a fighting game player that's new to a different fighting game, they're starting at the basics of it. For someone like me, I would be starting at like below the basics. I would be starting below ground zero, really. And that's a problem, because that just means that there's even more of a learning curve for me. And I mean, I still at least have dabbled in fighting games. I can't imagine how it would be for someone that's never played a fighting game. And I mean, people just do not really like to lose in games. That's also just, I mean, when you try to learn a fighting game, you're going to lose a lot, and you're going to have to get comfortable, really. Like your first 100 games, they are probably going to be brutal and just miserable. And really the best time to try to learn a fighting game is actually when it first comes out, when it's brand new and fresh and it has as many players as possible, because that's when the most amount of casual players that never really play fighting games are going to be playing. Whereas if I were to say try to learn Tekken 8 right now, it would be a very well uphill battle, because the problem is that yeah, there are still bad players at Tekken, but basically like the average player is better right now at Tekken than if the game was like freshly new. And I'm not really fighting against the average new player, I'm fighting against the average actual fighting game player, people that actually have a more basic understanding of the game. And really with like any sort of learning whenever you're facing against someone, you need to go against players that are just slightly above your skill level. Because if I were to say play Tekken 8 and all of a sudden face against Ulsan, I mean, I'm not going to learn anything. I'm just going to get folded into the corner, rolled up, packed up, and sent to, I don't know, Texas or something. And I ain't going to learn anything. I mean, the concussions I will be facing will just tell me that, yeah, I got beat up, you ain't beating that guy. But the thing is, it doesn't even really have to be Ulsan for me to get folded. It could just be any sort of really probably average player. Like with my skill level, there would basically be no difference between Ulsan and just an average Tekken 8 player. I would be getting folded regardless. And then I think there's like another issue of just not really knowing what my limit is, because if I were to try to learn a fighting game, I would be spending months at it probably. With months of practice, I don't really know how far that will actually get me. Like, will I be just an average player level? Will I be above average? Will I maybe even be great? I don't know. Whereas at least with like other first person or third person games, I can kind of get an idea as to how good I'll be. Like for example, Marvel Rivals. I have not played it in, I mean, really like a year, roughly. I'm just not into PvP games as much as I used to be. I kind of just get an itch for them here and there, and then I'll satisfy that itch. But with Marvel Rivals, I feel like I could probably get to Celestial if I were to actually put in the time and effort into learning it. And, you know, Celestial is above average, and like, you know, that would be a satisfying rank to actually hit. With a fighting game, just Tekken 8 to throw out an example, I don't know what rank I would get to with practice. Would I be just an average rank? Would I be above average? I don't know. Because like I would not really want to spend months of learning to just be average. I mean, I don't think anyone really wants to do that, because at least with like first person, third person games, I'm at least above average. Like I'm not trying to ego talk or whatever, not trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm so good. It's just, I mean, I know my limits. I've been playing first person and third person games for years at this point, for decades really. I know what my limits are when it comes to shooters, basically. And then I guess like a little bit of another point that is not really talked about too much is that it probably is like a little bit more embarrassing to get folded in a fighting game, because it's like all eyes are on you. Now there are not that many eyes, I mean it's just you and one other person, but what I mean is that like people are going to notice your gameplay just front and center. So if you do poor, people are going to notice that, and I mean it's going to be blatantly obvious. Whereas with just a 6v6 shooter, you know, Marvel Rivals, Call of Duty, whatever, not all eyes are on you really. I mean, people are not even really going to see your gameplay. They're probably only going to see like your stats, and like they can laugh at you at your stats, but you know, stats don't always paint the full picture. They're not like seeing your actual gameplay unless they actually like in Marvel Rivals go into spectator or whatever and rewatch your gameplay, or I don't know, you get a final kill cam or play of the game, something. But really I think that's like just the problem of fighting games, and I mean there's not really too much they can do about that. It's just their niche gameplay wise, not just genre wise but gameplay wise. When you're trying to learn it as a new player especially, I'm just accidentally autopiloting. I'm not even doing stuff that I should be doing. It's really hard to actually learn a fighting game from like below ground zero. And also like the I guess the desire to try to get better. Like I mean it's probably a lot more effort to get better at a fighting game than it is to get better at any other game. It's also probably not as chill. It's probably a bit more stressful, pressure, a bit more effort. I also think there's just not that many like quality fighting games. Of course, as time goes on, more games get added to the catalog because, you can always play older games as long as they actually have players. I mean, you can, I guess, go against bots. You're probably wanting to actually go against players, not bots. But there's a very limited number of fighting games actually out on the market versus just any other game, really. I mean, especially if you're trying to talk about quality fighting games, it's like, what is there? There's Tekken. I know you can make fun of Tekken 8 with the balance. At least, like, the game quality is nice. Like, it's a very well-made game. Combos are cool, moves are cool, aesthetically looks great, sound is great, you name it. It's just, the balance is the issue, really. There's like Street Fighter, there's Virtua Fighter, there's Mortal Kombat, there's some Marvel vs. Capcom games, there's Marvel Tokon coming out, and like, a couple others, but you can kind of just count all like actual quality fighting games like on your fingers, probably. I think another issue, at least for me, is input. Keyboard, I messed around with it a little bit. It just feels so weird. And also there's just so many keys on a keyboard, of course, that it is a little bit confusing at first. It's really hard to adapt to and actually learn. Also, it's just like, I don't really feel like my keyboard has that much space. Like, I feel like my hands are cramped together when I actually try to use the keyboard for a fighting game. And then with controller, man, I tear up my thumb on the D-pad whenever I try to use it, because I just have an Xbox One controller, and like, I mess around with it some, and gosh, I just tear up my thumb after an hour, if even, maybe even more, like 20 minutes. I mean, especially with some of the inputs in these fighting games where you're having to, a quarter circles absolutely ruin me. And yeah, you can use the stick on a controller, but that's just the problem with stick on a controller, is that it's hard to be fast. Like, it's great for quarter circles, but if I'm trying to do any sort of like double inputs, that's when it's like, okay, this is just too slow. And also, I'm not like the most accurate with a stick, talking about a controller stick. And then that Xbox One D-pad just destroys my thumb. And so, like, yeah, there are those like arcade sticks, like those look really fun, and honestly, I feel like learning a fighting game would probably be more fun with that input, because it's such a new input that it kind of looks fun to mess around with. But the problem is that, you gotta buy one, right? If you want to buy like a good quality stick, I don't know, probably about $200. And maybe if you're even just looking for like a decent arcade stick where it's like, oh yeah, this one's like, highly rated and very good, nice quality, probably like $100. But like, that still is a lot of money on top of whatever fighting game you're buying. And most fighting games, they're typically what, 50, 60 bucks, maybe even 70, some are. And you're asking me to pitch in like another $100. I know that $100 could go to, more games, of course, but it just, that still is like, sorry, I don't really want to spend another $100 or more potentially. But I guess to just sum up, fighting games are very niche gameplay wise, and they just feel foreign to anyone that's never really played a fighting game, because just none of the skills from other games really transfer over to a fighting game. Nothing I do on Warframe is going to transfer over to Tekken 8, because like, yeah, I guess I somewhat know how to move on Tekken. Yeah, left, right, up, down, whatever. But to actually move effectively would be a whole different thing. On Dragon Ball FighterZ, it was especially atrocious, because you gotta do super jumps, and it's rough for me on there. It's like, yeah, I can move, but I can't actually move in any sort of meaningful way. It's like the only skill that might transfer over from Warframe is my reading comprehension. So fighting games are just tough. If you ask me what I think the hardest game is, there's like typically a few options. Like, I'd probably say Rainbow Six Siege. Like, yeah, you can make fun of Rainbow Six all you want to. I do it too. I don't even really play Rainbow Six, but there's Rainbow Six is just like, there's so many angles to learn, and you gotta be accurate too. It can be very overwhelming. It's also kind of slow to learn, because it's a slow-paced game, and respawns are not enabled. So I'd probably say like Rainbow Six, and then probably just like any sort of fighting game. I feel like some people would say like, oh, Counter-Strike's the hardest, and no, it's not, because I feel like with Counter-Strike, if you can at least just aim decently, you'll probably do pretty decently, right? And if you can just not move like a trash can, then yeah, you'll be able to, be at least average level on Counter-Strike, maybe even a little bit more if you can just seriously aim that well. But fighting games, they're just a whole nother breed. Like Escape from Tarkov, if I were to try to learn that, I would probably have a easier time because hey, I still know how to move around, I still know how to aim, I can shoot, I know how to reload, I can loot stuff. I've done that before, like yeah. But if I were to try to learn Marvel Tokon, I mean, GG, good luck. I've thought about buying an arcade stick just to like mess around with, try out some sort of fighting game, but I don't know, because like that is just a fair bit of money, and like I would actually want to buy like a good one. And there's like there's so many different sticks too, it's like there's like different button layouts, there's different levers you can get, there's different sizes, I mean, it's like trying to figure out a good mouse to use. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to talk about this because there's just been a lot of fighting game news. I already know, and a lot of people already know, that fighting games are a pretty niche genre. I kind of just wanted to give my thoughts on it because fighting games still are cool. I can at least recognize a good fighting game when I see one, even if I don't really play it. Like Fighters, I mean, I loved watching Fighters. Haven't really watched it too much in recent years because pro play tournaments have kind of just died down a little bit with support for the game being gone, except for, recently with Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku. It's just, I mean, the community has not really been there, I feel like. But I still do, like, at least, even if I don't really play fighting games too much, I still do at least like to watch them. I've watched a fair bit of, Main Man Sui, VDX for Tekken 8. I like watching the Tekken 8 tournaments. They're, still fun to watch. And Marvel Tokon, I'm interested in learning more about it and seeing how its pro players play it. I'm kind of hoping Jeff the Land Shark will be in Marvel Tokon. I think that would be fun. They need like a kind of a silly kind of gag character, and I think Jeff the Land Shark would be perfect for that. I also think, like, just a little small tangent, I think another important thing of fighting games is actually having cool combos. I know people, more dedicated players, I should say, for some fighting games can kind of complain about combo length and duration, which, like, I understand, but I think that having sick looking combos, it's important for a fighting game from a casual perspective, because those are like the hype moments. They're the spicy, saucy moments that actually get outsiders kind of interested in the game. And like Dragon Ball Fighters, I probably would not have watched pro play and whatever other videos on it, Dado Doya, Syriax, Rhymesal. I probably would not have watched any videos on it if the combos weren't so cool. Like, I know being a victim to a long combo can be tiring because you want to play the game, you're waiting for your turn, but I mean, for the player it probably feels awesome, it probably feels amazing. And for the casual player, if a casual player does manage to pull off a cool combo, I mean, that sticks with them. That's like kind of what they're playing for. No Carmine Penta Barrel, dang it. But anyway, I think that's all I wanted to talk about for now. If you guys want to see me like try to play Marvel Tokon when that comes out, just let me know. I mean, I wouldn't mind trying it, especially for a video. I don't know if there's another beta for it coming out or not, but I don't know, just let me know your thoughts on all this if you want to down in the comments. And I mean, that's it for now, so I'll see you on whatever I do next.